I think we're all here. Sorry about being late. This is all started. Did people have a chance to go over the meeting minutes? Was there anything that anyone wanted to bring up in regards to that?
There was one minor thing about the foundation, the money for the solar for the library, and it said it would also include, it said roof mounts, but what you actually said was it would also include the ground mounts.
Oh,
that was going to change.
Okay.
It's minor, it doesn't really need to change.
Yeah, but I'll get in there and change it. That's why we do this stuff. Okay, going over the action items from those minutes. I've gone through the Soul Swag stuff with Jamie, and we're all done for now. There may be some things that we'll take up with the planning board in the future, some minor changes, but it's not required by the program. Our wording could be improved in very few places, but I told Jamie that what we should do is go over what they're interested in doing, because they do want to make some changes. I think there's some definitions that need to be added. They don't have a category for commercial roof systems. It's sort of a hole in the definitions, and that's an easy, a non-controversial thing to add. They have gone. Was I going to go over this somewhere else? Yeah, I'll go over this later. So anyway, that's done. The group net SAU stuff, I went to the meeting, reported out on that the last time. I've got a little bit more to say further on. Basically, that's all taken care of. They're going to be part of the program. Did you write a letter?
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a hold of Chris Scopeland and talk it through with him.
Okay.
Figure out, but next week I'll get to that.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what the time frames, if they matter on any of that. I mean, like I said, you're not going to change his mind.
No.
It's more for our select board.
Right.
Rob, have you thought any more about the education stuff?
Yeah, I emailed Lydia, the new librarian, kind of about our ideas of having kind of a section to highlight energy, outreach, education, and she thought it was a great idea. So I said, I know you got a lot on her plate with the move and all, but she said, let's mid-July, so I'm going to set up a meeting with her mid-July to share ideas, but she seems excited about it. Way to kind of promote, highlight the solar that the library has, the energy it's producing, but then just energy and efficiency education.
Right, yeah, and we might be able to suggest some book purchases or purchase some books.
I'm going to check what they have they already moved their stacks. I'm going to check what they have when they're listening.
Yeah.
And then consult with you guys what should probably be stuff to add. And
I got some I was going to donate.
I'll donate some stuff that I have from, but I only, it's like a half a dozen books. It's not much, but it's
that's great.
Yeah.
So on that same topic, we're doing a display in the Wolfboro Library, and it costs like $350 to buy a display.
Like a monitor dashboard kind of setup?
Yeah, that would basically show the performance
That's
of that
exactly
thing.
what I was kind of hoping for.
I think you do this with a Raspberry Pi or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do it with a Fire Stick, and it works when it goes to sleep.
Oh. Yeah, it would be pretty easy to set up one.
Okay, perfect. So I mean, basically, we create a website from the logger, and you get a series of screens we can pick through. We can also create screens, and that'll just run. It was, like I said, monitoring is cheap.
Yeah, no, and those are nice too, because you can also rotate between the dashboard showing, but also information about things happening.
True.
Energy.
Yeah, true. No, I mean, it'll be just a standard web browser that we can set up to show anything we want. I also spoke to Tiffany about website modifications. We're welcome to do it on our own. She is glad to help out with that stuff on a time available basis, obviously. So just.
Yeah, I'm glad to check in with her and see, her process, and I mean, it wouldn't be hard for you to do that, so.
Okay.
Train's coming.
But it started with the library. I haven't, you know, I think the schools are probably a direction to head. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened in the school board meeting a little bit further on. But sounds good with the education. Is there anything that you would like to do in terms of sitting down with me or any other members of the group as far as planning goes?
No, I mean, I think unless you guys have any specific ideas around education, you know, in the library, again, I'm thinking of a section in NCAP, something that highlights efficiency and energy, you know, whether it be in or around the home improvement section, whatever they have related, environmental section, and somehow tie that in perhaps with the monitor and dashboards.
You might do a web search to see if, I'm sure there's other places that have done something like this. If we don't have to reinvent everything, it might give us some ideas.
There's an organization called, I think it's called VEEP, Vermont Energy Education Program, that Ted and I are, you know, okay, Ted and I are sponsoring some programs with them. And their deal is they'll come into schools and do programs.
Yeah.
For free. So I'll take care of that because, I mean, Ted's and my intention was to help fund these guys to get out to schools, particularly schools that we were doing, but other schools as well.
Yeah.
All right, so you and I talk about that.
Okay, great. Doug, anything we should know about in terms of Sunday?
I haven't given it a lot of attention. I looked at the website, more detailed. There just isn't much detail there yet.
It'll be developing as we get closer.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. But, you know, I'm figuring we could start brainstorming possible activities, whatever.
Okay, well, keep us posted and, you know, if there's any support that you need, if there's any funding that you're interested in, we'll have to go.
Well, I'm not trying to organize this all by myself. I'm assuming it's going to be a group project, right?
Well, it's probably going to be mostly you, to be quite honest.
I'm happy to kind of take the lead, but I'm just saying it's going to take a bunch of folks. And
Yeah, well, we're looking to you for ideas. I mean, if we can get assignments for stuff we need to do, that'd be fine. But, we are looking to you for ideas.
What date did you say it was?
September 21st.
Yes.
Fall equinox. It's Sunday, of course.
Okay, that pretty much covered what the existing action items from the last meeting. The school board did vote in favor. I think they went through legal review and they voted in favor of signing the agreement. They sent it to me way earlier than I expected. I wasn't expecting it until I think a couple of days ago. So I submitted it right away to the coalition. And I did ask them what was the status of subscriptions. They reserved the spot for us based on what I had submitted to them early, and subscriptions are closed. They're fully subscribed.
Yeah, right on. Right.
Yeah. So we lucked out on that one. I suspect the margins were pretty thin. If you want to meet with the school board at any point, it actually is an interesting. Well, you've probably been to some of their meetings, right?
I think I might start first trying to figure out grassroots, check with like science teachers, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And you know,
Do
there's
you
some
know-
things.
Do you know the faculty?
No, that's what I'm gonna look into that. But I think that might be actually. I don't know that it's something that the school board they're gonna necessarily care about. It seems like it's something more at the department level of the schools.
I think that the board is a good way to get in there.
I think probably could simultaneously or something. I don't. Yeah, I'm not trying to skirt anything or anything. You know, I think.
No. I actually think that might be the way to do it. I mean, to be quite blunt, and we are being recorded, I did not make any progress on things with Deanna. And it wasn't until, and what I was made aware of is that there are other routes to go through, and one of which is to present at the meeting, because Deanna is there, which is good. We want her to hear it. But it also as a presentation to a wider audience that if they're interested, they can express.
I think my intent or the idea around starting with the actual teachers is to kind of see what are they doing already.
Good
right?
idea.
What's in place,
That's a good idea.
and because I think if it's not already in the curriculum, I'm sure there's room to add that kind of real world applied science. But finding out, their interest level. If they're not interested,
Yeah, no,
it's not worth going to the school board either, right? So I kind of want to feel out on the ground.
Yeah. Tess used to be involved with the curriculum in Portsmouth, and it was pretty rigid. I mean, the teachers obviously do have leeway in what they can present, but it's limited.
It's hard to believe there isn't any energy, something over.
You would
8
think, I mean,
years
it's
schooling
an important concept for the times, and
So I want to investigate what actually exists.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds good. But if you do get to the point where it's time to meet with some people who are in a position to make decisions on that, don't avoid the board.
No.
They did treat me very nicely.
Yeah.
It was
What
good.
was the conversation like on the poverty plains? The excitement, the concerns, or?
Well, so I was supposed to go there with Jackson Kaspari originally. That morning, I got an email from Deanna basically saying, why don't you just shorten everything up and you just give us an overview? I had sent them the presentation. I assumed that they had looked it over. And so I said, well, so I'm assuming should we still have Jackson come? My concept was that he would tell them more about the coalition, about the project. And they probably wouldn't have been that interested. So we told Jackson not to come. I did end up going through most of the slides and most of the description, as it turned out. They were interested. I don't think they had gone through as much as she thought they had. Basically, in the end, they asked my opinion of did I think this was a good idea. I told them I thought it was a good deal. I thought it was the best deal that they were going to get on something that was worth doing. Wouldn't save them a huge amount, but I gave them the spreadsheets. We did go over that.
Was there a calculation? It's still thousands of dollars.
It's roughly under current conditions, 21,000.
That's
Yeah. So no, and they agreed completely. So it was a good meeting. Let's see. So I did attend the board meeting the other day. There wasn't a huge amount of stuff there. Dan, you and I have to re-sign conflict of interest documents.
I read that email, and was that the one from Henry?
I didn't get an email, or I missed it.
There was an email from Henry that said the effect that if you'd signed it already, you're fine, which I did. I don't know.
Legally, we're covered, but they did say they would like it to be renewed every year. I don't think it's a big deal, and it's easy to do. I don't even know where to get a copy, an unsigned copy. The issue is that it's changed a little bit.
Okay.
And I think that's the main reason why.
Well, that didn't come through in the email, but I'll take your word for it.
Would you resend me that email?
Yeah.
Because I did get something from Henry, but I didn't notice anything about
Yeah.
that agreement.
They've sent 500,000 emails recently, so it's going to take me a bit to find them. But
Okay.
I'm certain it was from Henry, so that'll narrow it down.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, he's sent some things about the office hours that he's having.
Yeah.
Okay. They have put together, or they are putting together an executive search committee to replace Brian Kalman. And they're actually going to reconsider, from the sounds of it, the entire position, what the responsibilities will be, how they'll be distributed. They're saving a lot of money by not having an executive in place at the moment. Henry's doing quite well. And I'll tell you, his handling of this stuff is really impressive. He is one smart guy. Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with what I see him doing. And I mean, he's specifically not making the decisions on hedging recommendations and things like that. That is for the committee. And I'm sure he's glad not to have to do that. So that committee's chores are being considered and will be presented to the board at the next meeting. So we'll see what comes out of that. They did review the cash flow situation similar. It was basically exactly the same graphs that I showed at the last meeting. And they are showing some improvement in a preliminary review of the April numbers, which they don't have graphs on. It's too preliminary. They're seeing an upswing. They are expecting, as we saw in the forecast, that July and August are going to be the toughest period, the lowest point for cash flow. There was a change in, I think the last time that you had asked me about the opt reports and they were unchanged. So they now have the versions that will be valid for that time frame, and they have changed. They basically doubled. They used to have an opt-out of 0.6%. It went up to 1.2%. There was a little more impact than that on a cash flow basis because it was mostly, as you would expect, commercial vendors who are paying more attention to this are the ones that are jumping like Connor did.
That's not really that much.
It's not. No, these are small
Given
numbers.
that they compare the Eversource rate.
Right,
So,
right. And, we're getting into a new rate setting period and we'll see what happens. And it's, unfortunately, I'm sure you've all heard, we'll see a little more about it later, but the PUC did make a decision on the Unitil case. There's another decision to be made on Eversource. It's a little bit different, but that may not affect this rate period. It may not be until the next rate period that is affected by the decision. So it's hard to say what will. It's impossible to say what will happen. Henry is having an office hours tomorrow to go over the rate setting process and joint reserves, current status and things like that. It's going to be a little longer than usual. These are usually for an hour starting at noon. They shifted it. It's going to be an hour and a half. I will listen to it if anyone's interested. The information is on the agenda. This is a calendar of the whole process in a nutshell. And obviously it's done as of the beginning of July. There's a lot of intermediate points. And I'll be interested to say, we no longer have a recommendation from the CEO. I'm assuming the Risk Management Committee, in conjunction with the Finance Committee, will make a similar recommendation to what the CEO would have made. And that should be coming out, I think that's that black date on the 9th. Right now, the Risk Management Committee is having a bunch of training sessions on how to set hedging levels and basically on everything that they consider. And I've been sitting in on they're virtual. Well, for me, they're virtual. And I sat in on the first one. There's another one coming up either Monday or Wednesday. I'm not sure, it's in my calendar. And it will be interesting for me to see how they do these things. It's still pretty much a mystery in my eyes on how they pull that number out. They are getting a lot of help from the consulting company. And those guys are good. The rate shifting case we just mentioned, obviously there was a decision there. I don't know if you've had a chance to go and look at any of the documents on the coalition website. They're doing a lot more now. This one is up. I think Henry did send out. Did you see this
Didn't
link?
catch that, no.
Okay. This is the coalition's comment on the decision. It's good to go through. It's worth reading. There's a number of different ways that this benefits the population and the markets in manners that I would not have thought of. So it's an interesting read. We don't need to go through it in detail here. That's about it for what was going on in the coalition. There will be very busy with rate setting. That's, obviously because of what's happened over the prior 4 or 5 months. This is going to be a big deal what they come up with this time. And there's going to be a lot of scrutiny.
So in July, so.
It takes effect at the 1st of August, yeah, so.
Yeah, 7th July.
Yeah. And we will have preliminary indications before then, but they're not, not for public disclosure, at that point, because they're not firmly decided on. We do have the solar tracking numbers. So we are a little bit behind for this month. Let's go. So our projections on the avoided costs were not as good as projected. We were almost $200 below on that. On the total amount saved, we were very close. This doesn't look right. These are not the numbers I remember to have. There we go. This is it. I was looking at last month's. So once again, we didn't avoid as much as we thought. We were $200 off on that. We made it up some on the amount that was credited, so we gained $146 there. We have a net loss from what we estimated of $55. Now, I'm expecting that those numbers will improve in the summer, but it depends on what our predictions say. I think we know that if we get a lot more sun, we had estimated behind the meter consumption was going to be 78%. We know that we will produce way more than that, and we will not be using anywhere near 78%. So we'll be making more money on what we're selling back to Eversource. And I know that our numbers are going to be off in that respect, but it may balance out. And my expectation is that it will balance out so that we're doing better than we would have expected. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, so because of the weather in March and April, we're going to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's what this number shows.
Yeah. Couldn't catch up in the summer? Well, sure. We could also have shitty weather, so who knows? It's really hard to, so we're looking at these things on a monthly basis. It's like,
Yeah.
You really don't know until the end of the year what's actually
happening. Well, I mean, I think the long and short of it is, even if we see performance the way it's been, I mean, except in February, which was a disaster. But even other than February, if we see performance where we're just lagging behind by that amount, we'll still be very close to our numbers.
So you're saying since we turned it on, we're within $50 of our target?
I didn't say that.
$50 for May.
This is it's $50 for May. Okay. But these are the numbers for each month. You can't read that.
No.
There you go.
200, 285, 90. Okay, so we're $300.
Yeah.
under our projection.
And I think we will do better in these months, but we'll see, we'll see. And then there's always next year.
Yeah.
Well, the return on investment's over it. It's
It's over, was the projection for 7 years?
So,
Yeah, is there a standard in the industry, Jack, as far as like, you know, you look at 3 years, you look at 5 years? What do you,
6 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide variable because, you know, roof orientation and pitch and weather conditions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
the life expectancy is more like 20, right? And so,
It's more than
For panels, it's 40.
yeah, so it's gonna, I mean,
The town has someone going through the direct pay calculations now, trying to figure out the IRS forms on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like it, right?
I got an email about that today. And the way the questions are phrased was like, what?
Well, and was this from Debbie?
Yeah, HR.
Okay, because she's consulting with CENH on this and they're helping her out.
Yeah.
So,
I think I gave her some other town contacts too,
okay, good.
because there are a couple other towns that have been through it and they're willing to help, so.
Oh,
But you know, it's just that first question was like, what?
What? Didn't make any sense to me at all.
this is the question that she was asking or on the
So,
form?
no, on the form, it asked the net, you get that email?
Yeah, I got that email.
So, yeah, because it's, you have to hear this question, it's really,
And it's something from the IRS?
just a, it's a weird question.
That's your response, I think. Yeah, that's your response. Who is it? Does the property purchase a net output of less than 1 megawatt alternating current or equivalent thermal energy?
What?
Yeah, what? Exactly.
Net megawatt.
A net megawatt.
Well, forget about the thermal part for the moment, just what does it mean, net megawatt?
Yeah, it
Does the town
doesn't-
purchase a net
that's
megawatt?
power.
It's like-
That's power, not energy.
Right. It's like, what? And then later on, it asks what the, and my answer to that question was, well, it's 40 or 30 kilowatts AC. I don't know how else to answer the question, so it's obviously not as much as a megawatt, but then later on, it asks what the AC and DC sizes are.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't know. It's a weird question.
I'm glad we're not the ones that have to deal with
Yeah,
that.
yep.
But,
Well, Jack is.
Yeah, but that's all right. We'll get through it.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
I don't
no,
know what that question.
I think the question doesn't make sense. I mean, you can ignore the thermal if you want, but the fact is they threw the word in there and it can't fit.
Hmm.
You know, I'm amazed how state and federal people seem to not know what they're talking about sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen state, you know, reports that got their power and their energy mixed up. And,
That happens
Sounds like
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if it's just a typo, but you
But
get
in
the
an
sense
IRS
they didn't
form,
even, yeah, right. You don't understand it. Why are you asking? You know, it's like, well,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've got towns that have gone through it. Clean Energy New Hampshire is supporting the town on
Yep.
this. You know, they're pulling together people to go over the numbers that she's presenting.
Yes.
And correct them if they see fit. So hopefully they'll get through that. But I'm a little confused because part of the deadline has passed on submitting.
Well, this is a follow-up thing, isn't it? Isn't it follow-up questions? to what she-
That may be, that would make
I
sense.
thought they were follow-up to what she submitted before.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that,
That makes some sense.
I'm assuming that,
Okay.
but
Okay, because, no, there was, Clean Energy New Hampshire sent out a notification that whatever the first thing that had to be filed about the direct pay was due in 2 or 3 days from when you emailed it out. This was a couple of weeks.
because it was a couple of months ago that she filed this stuff, remember?
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been quite a while.
Okay, well, hopefully we will get that money. I'm sure that, there's new news on clawbacks and things like that, and I would imagine this wouldn't be affected by that, but I don't know what to believe.
Well, so the way the bill's written, it's 60 days, the project has to be completed 60 days after the signing of the bill. I think. So that's not an issue.
Okay, good.
Anything new?
Yeah, right. Okay, as far as the Soul Smart stuff goes, like I said, the permitting checklist and the solar permit are done. Tiffany is changing them into an editable PDF, which will be posted on the building department website. Apparently, we are the first town to complete a whole bunch of this stuff in the program.
Really?
So, yeah. So they asked if they could use our stuff as examples, and I said, sure. So expect to see a bunch of other towns copying them.
So Soul Smart.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So we must have on our way to a rating that's comparable to any others in the region?
I don't know who else in if anyone else in the region has, I guess they did say at the beginning that there were some towns that were already certified. We're, just in terms of the number of points we already had going into this, we're well beyond the bronze level. I haven't been paying much attention to what you have to have certain things in certain categories, and I haven't really looked closely at that. But basically, once these are on the website, we can verify that they're there, and then we're pretty much done.
Yeah, that's sort of it, wasn't
Yeah.
I forget, was there an annual membership support that goes into Soul Smart, like for the town, or
No,
it's not paid?
no, there's nothing with Soul Smart. Clean Energy New Hampshire, a year ago, we requested funds from the select board to join,
Yeah.
have a community
Right,
membership.
right.
And I just sent today, actually, I sent the woman at Clean Energy New Hampshire an email asking if that was a renewing membership or if it was lapsing this month, because I want to request more funds for it. They have been helping the town on, this direct pay thing. They've been helping us on the Soul Smart stuff. There's been enough interaction over the course of the year that I think it's been very well worth the money. And the legislative comments that I gave to the select board, a lot of that came from Deanna.
Well, so let me know if the town doesn't approve that, because Ted and I are funding memberships for customers.
Okay, I'm sure they will.
I don't think so. They should. I mean, everybody should.
Well, and it's not like we're using the funds that they've allocated for us. We are not, and we should.
How does Soul Smart pay for their operations? Do they certify like industry and paying entities?
Good question. I mean, it
To be funded somehow. I mean, but
I think they were under the Renewable Energy Lab, NREL, but I'm sure their funding is in bad shape at this point. I'm kind of amazed that they're able to continue, but I don't know.
I'm surprised that they don't have a fee for certifying towns.
Yeah.
Or industries.
Right.
They must have gotten a sizable grant at some point, and are using the funds for that. And, hopefully I'm assuming since they must have the funds already. They're obviously paying these people's salaries.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're tying in with Clean Energy New Hampshire on this. I mean, I'm sure that the people in CENH are not getting additional funding, as a result of this. They may actually be contributing something towards it. I really don't know. We could ask Katrina. She might.
Imagine if, once it gets off the ground, kind of LEED certification, things that people want that kind of certification, once it becomes desired, then they can
It's been
probably
around for quite a while.
charge for it.
Solar Sun is funded by the U.S. Department of Energy's Solar Energy Technologies Office.
Okay.
They can't have a lot of extra funds.
That's wrong.
They'll
They
probably
have
be
the
out of
word
a job
in their
eventually.
The office still is.
I'm so, you were able to get to a website?
There, ask Google.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
how I find things out.
Good job.
You didn't go to the solar inspection training, did you?
Well,
You left
no,
early.
I left.
It was terrible.
I expect, that's why I left early. That guy was awful. That guy was just awful.
I haven't asked Jamie what he thought about it. I have a feeling he had his phone turned on and was paying no attention to it at all. It was really bad.
Yeah.
I made a comment to John Driscoll. I said, I think the guy is stoned.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was worth spending a whole.
No, it was, I was very disappointed in that. I was kind of expecting them, I think I was in the SolSmart office hours after that took place, and they didn't ask for any feedback. I am going to give them some feedback on it at the end of the program, because it was like the guy had never looked through any of the material before. It was really sad. But it was what it was. The cohort meeting was a presentation on large-scale solar, and it was a good presentation. I don't think that stuff is available to the general public, but I do have minutes that I took on it, and well, that Granola took on it. I didn't take them, and there also the presentation is available. So if anyone is interested enough in large-scale solar permitting and installations, let me know, and I'll get you the presentation. I thought you were there for that. No, you weren't. What?
If I was, it didn't leave a lasting impression.
You're on your phone.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any idea of what's going on at the library these days? What's going on with the solar?
Well, so just about all the racking is up on the roof. They probably got an hour or two tomorrow to finish that. The trench is dug out to the,
How'd you get under the sidewalk?
we haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay.
But those poor bastards are gonna have to dig that by hand. All materials are out there. The inverters are up in the attic. They'll probably be mounted tomorrow or the next day. They got everything they need, so. By the end of next week, they should be pretty close to done.
Who's doing the installation?
Porter Rock out of Deerfield.
Good. Do you know if they're on schedule for the opening?
Oh, easy.
Okay, great.
I mean, unless we have, biblical rains for the next 3 weeks, that would slow it down a little. Or if it's gonna be, 95 degrees.
Yeah, I don't think any of those things are
Right.
supposed to happen.
Right, so I think we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, great. Anything new on the rec center stuff?
Not really. I mean, we're trying to finalize the final things that we can do for the number we have.
Okay. Legislative updates, there's not a lot here. This came from Clean Energy New Hampshire. I think the most significant thing, Doug, if you could explain some of this, it would help. So SB 106 was the proposal for extending group net metering so that it wouldn't only be applicable to municipalities and government entities, it would have been open to commercial entities. So that was added to HB2, the budget trailer bill. Now, I looked through HB2, the current text, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, whether it's how amendments get included or not.
And yeah, and maybe it was supposed to be current, but it wasn't the most current.
Yeah, that could be too. I mean, they're usually a few days behind.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, if this does get in, it's a backhanded way of getting it in there, obviously, but, this would sort of be the kind of thing that, were an installation to go in, down at the Lindsay pit, it could use this mechanism. Because it would be a commercial entity. So, which would be much better than just doing another thing like another property plans, which Barrington would not even be able to bid on. The other thing is the Renewable Energy Fund was rated to the tune of something like $10 million. So people are saying the good part is that it wasn't completely eradicated, but I'll tell you, that is not good.
But there's also less money coming in, I guess, at least they. I don't know where it ended up. They were trying to change the renewable energy portfolio the
Compliance payment,
yeah,
lessen it?
yeah, I believe so. Or they were getting rid of it for solar, but I don't recall.
Yeah, it was for
They
certain
would have
classes,
said
and I didn't understand.
Yeah, it's confusing for several, but it's basically, solar, wind, and hydro.
Right. But the classes apparently do matter in some way.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's different figures for each one and different target amounts. But I don't recall. I mean, I would assume, I haven't looked at their latest stuff, so I would think they would have said something about where that stands.
They didn't say much. I think the general tone was one of pretty profound disappointment.
I read today that the Senate has restored 2 million into the renewable energy.
Oh,
budget,
in
but
the
it's
reconciliation.
dropping the budget.
So,
So,
only taking 8 million then?
Big
yeah,
enough.
Well, and it has to go through the negotiation
Well, yeah.
process now. Right?
Done deal, yeah.
So, I mean, none of this is a done deal.
Right.
The SB 106 additions to HB 2. Well, I guess that was, since the House put it in, the Senate is going to, they were in favor of it, I believe.
I didn't follow.
Yeah, I don't remember. Basically, we'll see how it turns out. There's nothing to be done about it.
But there was this other bill that I mentioned 2 weeks ago, which I'm sorry, I don't think I sent you the text. They actually amended it a little bit more, but it's essentially still there, and it passed the full Senate, so.
Which one? This was the win.
Well, no, it's actually a nuclear.
Oh,
stuff
yes,
that
where
tacked
they,
on all
yes,
the solar
right.
to
Right.
it.
They claim to have made it more technology neutral.
Kind of. I mean, it was basically just a backdoor thing to get some, net metering stuff in there. But it did pass the full Senate, so, I mean, I guess they have to go back to the House again, hash that out. But, the House is really hot to, or at least certain leaders are hot to have this
Well, the nuclear part,
stuff
yeah.
on the books, so they may swallow that. I don't know.
No, I think they will. I think they will go for that. What is the timing on when all of the reconciliation has to be finished by?
I don't know if there's a real deadline.
Well,
But
the
obviously
session ends at some point.
Yeah, no, I know they have to. Yeah, it's probably the end of the month or something. Then the governor, of course, has to act on them.
Right.
But I think you can take longer, or it's less certain if things will get signed.
It actually seems like she is more inclined to sign a lot of this.
Maybe than Sununu. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Okay. And Doug, I'm gonna let you do this one. Like I said, I could not,
Well,
access
yeah,
it.
and I actually didn't read the letter either, the article, but, this is the Exeter Municipal Solar. It's, Was it just under 2?
I think it's, 177 or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how rounded this is, or is it flat?
I don't know. I don't even know exactly where it is.
No, I
mean,
don't
I
know.
didn't round it really far. I mean, it looks like a landfill that they
It is.
covered.
It's actually in Brentwood, isn't it?
The Exeter landfill is in
Yeah.
Brentwood? Oh, that's too bad.
The article said that it covered 92% of Exeter's electric, is
Yeah,
something
municipal.
municipal.
I mean, not all the towns.
It's not all of Exeter, but
Right.
like,
Cool.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, you're never gonna get 100%.
Why it's spaced out the way it is.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Weird. Yeah, well, it might be the slope or because
Yeah.
they couldn't put too many in there.
but I mean, a couple of the rows seem very close together, like the back rows seem very close
Well, I
together.
think that's the angle of the
You do?
camera. Yeah.
Oh, that could be a downhill slope there too. I'm just wondering because, our
Crossroad?
landfill is so, the reason I was thinking about this was, I know the statement is that our landfill is too sloped that you have to break into the containment and that, I can't judge that. But one thing that I did notice, I was driving by the Durham installation. That does not appear to be on a three-phase line.
The one on, it's not.
Doesn't look like it's a three-phase line to me.
Well, so was it, that was only 100 kilowatts, wasn't
I don't know, I've never actually seen how
It's pretty
big it
big.
is. It
Not
looks
seen
strange.
it? Right.
I would think it's more than that.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, well, I think utilities are really hesitant to do that anymore. Like the co-op won't do anything more than 75. I would
On
be
a
surprised if
single phase.
Eversource would let us do more than 100.
Do you think it was just a matter of when it was
No, that was
done?
quite a while
It
ago.
was. Okay. Because I mean, I know that, those facilities have a transfer station, don't have three-phase line. So that ruled everything out, and it probably does, but I was confused as to why the Durham facility had been put in like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one, you can easily do it there because it can't be, it's, you get 20 kilowatts on top of that landfill, maybe.
Yeah, well,
You can't run it down the slopes.
there's more than that. I don't think it's a good spot. I just,
No, you could get, I think they would let us do 100.
really,
But any more than that, I suspect not.
I mean, I think if we ever get to the point where we're looking at that, we'll be looking at more seriously at rooftops, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did say this is the largest municipally owned, I guess, solar
Oh.
farm in the state, which is
Yeah, it's the largest
impressive.
one.
So that's kind of neat. And I'm sure they'll give tours if we wanted to.
So I guess
Yeah.
that Summersworth one is, because it's bigger than this.
Yeah, but I'm
it's not
saying it's probably
municipally
not,
owned.
yeah, that's
They
probably
have
the
a power
distinction.
purchase agreement.
Yeah, well,
to
there's,
buy
one in
power.
Manchester too, but I guess that's not owned by
Okay.
the city either. But
Okay.
yeah, Summersworth, I heard is.
So you mean this wasn't a power purchase agreement, this was a purchase?
I'm not sure, it just that's what he referred to on the blurb about it.
I'm afraid I cannot tell you.
I would assume.
Well, you have the what Dan Weeks sent, I just copied that off Facebook.
I
I
can
think that,
have to stop
I
sharing.
mean, I don't remember if it went into much detail, but.
One moment. Let's see, I will remember.
Revision Energy.
Yeah, it was revision. That's kind of mentioned. That's Dan Weeks.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah.
This week, we powered on New Hampshire's largest solar farm owned by a municipality atop the Exeter landfill. 1.77 megawatts, offset 92% of Exeter's electricity use. And save taxpayers millions of dollars over the 30-year panel warranty period. I thought that was a lot. Millions of dollars?
Millions of
30
dollars?
years.
Okay.
That's
There is no more information.
yeah.
Well, just the fact that
So over 30 years,
it's municipally owned, it must not be a PPA.
it's probably in the school, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Seacoast Online seems to have gone to all
Yeah.
paid subscriptions.
Yeah.
They used to be kind of half and half.
You could get a couple of articles a month or
Right,
something
right,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, not anymore.
You know, I guess they gotta pay.
Yeah,
for it
yeah, no,
somehow.
I get it.
I don't wanna pay.
The question is, are people subscribing? I hope they are. I mean, I hate to see all the local stuff
They need
disappear.
to eventually, because you get a lot.
So they're giving that a 30-year lifespan?
Well, it's-
Is that like less than what rooftops
One
usually get?
moment,
Okay. Or-
to go back and see
Yeah, 30
exactly.
years is a reasonable number.
30-year panel warranty period.
So it can go beyond warranty.
Yeah.
Right.
At least that long.
And it's interesting, frequently it becomes economically viable to replace the panels before the warranty period is up because you make more money by having and there are going to be some significant efficiency gains.
Technology.
Yeah, the perovskite stuff is actually starting to turn out some fairly reasonable numbers, and I think in, another 10 years, they might be up in the mid-30s, commercially available. So that's a big change. I don't know if any of you got this from Sam Evans Brown. Apparently, Clean Energy New Hampshire was getting a significant amount of funding from the federal government, which is obviously being cut off. So they are in a crunch. If anyone is interested in subscribing, this is one of the reasons that I thought of, I should check on the town subscription. I do subscribe. I'm a member personally. I think they're a great organization and they're worth supporting. But I just wanted to bring that up to the group. The other thing I mentioned that the coalition is updating their website. So one of the things that they've done finally is they put up some really specific ways that you can put your email address in there. You can get notified of rate change when the rate changes take place and a bunch of other stuff, which is really good. And they're just sort of drastically revamping the whole website. They hired a new guy who's in charge of this part of public outreach, and he's, in spite of the fact that he told me that an office hours from Henry was canceled when it was not, so I missed it. He seems to be doing a really good job on reorganizing the website and making stuff a lot more available. That goes for the office hour meetings and all of their other meetings as well. There's a bunch of weekly look-aheads, and it's easy to sign up to participate or to be in on the virtual meetings. So it's worth taking a look. There's a lot more public reports and things like that. And they're sort of being more up to date on some of this stuff. I think this is all pretty old though. Yeah, this is the old stuff. So they're progressing in spite of the fact that they have other bigger items on their plate. They are taking care of some of that stuff. And the only other thing was that HPR had a blurb on the PUC rate decision. It's interesting. I looked at, I don't remember what other media outlet it was that I looked that had run an article on this, but it seems like they all use the same text. And this is from Mara Hoplamazian. I'm pretty sure she writes her own stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's all of a piece. The other thing that was interesting, so there were a few interesting things on this decision. Unitil had proposed shifting those costs to the stranded cost recovery mechanism. And that's what they got hammered on. Eversource apparently did not. It was actually the PUC that told them that they wanted them to make a proposal that would do that. It was not their original proposal, which is really bizarre.
And these are the same commissioners.
Yeah, but, there was a lot of public testimony.
But if they wouldn't allow it for Unitil, I don't know why they would
Well,
encourage it for Eversource.
well, no, this was before the
Yeah.
decision, obviously. And the wisdom is that, the Eversource decision will have to align with the Unitil decision as well.
Yeah.
But all of these articles end with a weird comment, which is somewhat disquieting. The commission left the question somewhat open, saying they may explore changes to reconciliations in the future. Other utility has similar questions still pending with the commission. I'm wondering if that actually, do you know anything about it, Doug?
Not any more than what I've read there. I mean,
Yeah.
but every
Sure,
every
it could go
bureaucracy
in a
leaves
different way.
the door open to future.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Right?
I know. Anyway, it is a good write-up on it. They do explain the process, and the public position and how the decision was arrived at. Good article. Yeah. And like I said, you can read it any place you want, because it's basically the same one all over.
Yeah, there's a lot of sharing going on. I mean,
Yeah,
well, simplifies things.
yeah. That was all I had for today. Anyone have any things that they wanted to bring up? Any issues that we should address in the
Well,
future?
if we have time, I thought it'd be useful to do a little brainstorming about the Sunday thing. Just I have some ideas, but I'd love to hear if other people do, and we could at least start a list so we can have something to refer to. I don't know how that gets into the minutes or whatever, but I'll start. I mentioned before about, we could maybe center the event, add to the town common. Obviously we want to encourage people to make use of the common, and you've got the solar panels there with Caleb's, of course. It's not very far to the library. And, there's certainly room. You can set up information tables, and there's parking and all that. So that seemed like the easy part, at least. But, then there's, would we involve other, facilities like the library and the rec department, figure out some, perhaps schools.
Barrington has a foot race at some point in the
Well,
calendar
it's
year.
spring.
It's in the spring, it's the spring peeper, right?
Right,
So I
yeah.
think that won't coincide.
Yeah, but you could do I think they made, they had some suggestions on things, a sun run, you could just have a race around the perimeter trail, even though we have the trail there. That'd be a reason to use it, for kids. But, it's just an idea. Having EVs available. Just between us, probably we could round up half a dozen different EVs to just kind of show off.
Jack's got that many on his own, right?
I'm just saying, it wouldn't be too hard. And, you could involve a dealer, I guess, if we wanted to, actually be doing sales, but I suppose.
Maybe you want to come.
Well,
That's
the
the
only
idea for business
like that.
problem with that is if this is all gonna be happening around the state on the same day.
Well, yeah, obviously,
there's
and that's where it'd be worth getting into people early and, getting them lined up before other people do, perhaps. But yeah, it may be tough even getting like Clean Energy NH, obviously it'd be nice if they wanted to do a table.
So we should probably talk, do you think Katrine would have any
Yeah,
thoughts on
but,
that?
that's the place to start.
maybe I haven't heard of anybody else working on it. I know Sierra Club nationally is a sponsor. There's an outfit called Third Act. It's Bill McKibben kind of came up with it. It's the senior folks, people that have less to lose or whatever, that want to get out and do stuff. And they do have a New Hampshire chapter, I know. But I haven't heard of any other major buy-in from other organizations. But,
I wonder if the coalition is doing anything.
Yeah, and that's another one too. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's a dozen different events all over the state, you know, they're not going to get to all of them.
No, no.
More than a few. But it would be great if we could.
Well, I mean, it may just be the Barrington Community Power would be the representatives.
Right,
That's
right. But even just having some literature or whatever.
Yeah,
If we're gonna keep trying to push the school bus thing, it'd be interesting to try and get a bus.
It would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I would think
So
so.
that citizens of Barrington get experience with the bus and push it from a different direction.
I have to admit, I had pretty much given up on that. Do you think we should still push that? Sure.
Well, but didn't we figure that at least, was it Candia? Or I know there was at least one town that actually,
There's a couple of towns.
Purchasing
Do you
some.
remember which town?
Concord is supposed to be headed that way. And these were from Warner or Hopkinton,
The ones that. we
Someone's
took the
over
line
there.
on, Yeah.
or Henniker, I think it was.
That could be.
but the
those
company,
buses.
right, that
The
does,
Same
the
company
company
that-
we lease from.
I
yeah.
presume
Same
they
company
would
we lease
want
from.
to be showing them off or, you know, that, I'm just saying.
What's the name of that company?
STA, I believe, is the parent company. Student Transportation of America.
No, but wasn't there some other one that we were hearing
Well,
about?
Dale is, but it's owned by Student Transportation of America.
Yeah,
Dale?
Dale Transportation.
I thought there was
Parent
some other
company-
one that we were talking about.
That, you mean the one I was originally talking
Oh, from
about?
Massachusetts?
Yeah, that actually has not turned out real well.
Yeah, okay.
There, yeah, Rob, I think you had originally told us about some problems they had up in Maine. And it turns out that yeah, they oversold themselves and the
Yes,
product was
doing
not
well.
that reliable.
Yeah,
Cold weather problems.
yeah. I mean, it's not that we're necessarily trying to sell it to the town.
No,
but
no,
It's
it's,
just to have a bus to show.
Right,
This
it's
is what it looks like.
I mean, what I'm saying though is that they're not,
Doing well.
I mean, it was hard to get a response out of them in the first place.
Yeah.
Now it's,
Well, but this other outfit is you know, in state or has a fleet or several.
well, I mean, I would think that we should start out through Dale and see, you know,
Yeah.
this is on a weekend.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Sundays.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's- things aren't gonna be used.
Right, right. Yeah,
Is a permit required for the con or
I don't know. I mean, obviously we
is the date free?
yeah, we should, I mean, I'd be happy to run it by,
Set up
at
the new
least.
public works director?
Yeah, right, maybe,
Probably.
I'll get in
Sure.
touch, I'll get in touch with Katrine and I'll see
Yeah.
what I can find out about.
yeah, just
the
see if
bus.
she's heard anything about it or,
Yeah,
As
yeah.
far as I know, right now, Jim Shakosha is the point person for that, for the comment.
Oh,
So
yeah.
really?
that's what I've been,
Oh, on
understand.
the select board, is his position on the select?
Not
board?
necessarily the select board, but on that committee,
Yeah.
what I
Oh,
understand, so.
Is this the committee you're on?
No, it's a different committee, right? There's the,
Barrington Senate
Commons
Committee,
Committee.
isn't it, Commons Committee?
yeah, there's the Town and Trails Committee, but that's a separate,
Yeah.
there's some overlap, of
Well,
course.
he was involved with the truck show, right?
Yeah, I think
So
so,
that maybe that was part of the,
maybe, so.
his involvement
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, we certainly at least want to find out if there's any conflicting.
He could send us the right
events.
direction.
Is that, have they relocated the truck show back to the,
It's gonna be
Yeah.
at Barrington Common.
Yeah,
and do you know when?
I did know when, I can tell you. There's a flyer in the other room.
oh, yeah.
Hopefully not the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll get something.
Can't find out.
Doesn't the
Oh,
national
it's probably
something
good.
organization, they had some like materials too, right, for
Not,
ideas?
yeah, I mean, they had a list of, you know, top 10 reasons why solar is good. You know, it was kind of pretty basic stuff. I'm sure they will
August
be
16th and 17th.
But, you know, they
You can have that flyer. We have a bunch of them.
ready to go. But, you know, they suggested, you know, doing various fun activities, you know, just a lot of different, you know, solar-related themes.
This is the 16th and 17th is
Uh,
a weekend, I assume, August.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, I believe.
Okay,
It's
Yeah,
2 days.
yeah, it's Saturday, Sunday.
okay, so that's several weeks beforehand. That's good.
And I was actually thinking, if they did coincide, that might not have been a bad thing.
Well,
It's too big a deal for,
yeah,
it would be.
yeah, it would be hard to manage, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is big. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
You know, we invite other solar companies, you know, Revision, they must be big enough that they
Yeah.
have a traveling road show or something.
Yeah, sure.
You know, just have a bunch of solar
They
stuff.
certainly have a publicity group.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. I don't know how that works in terms of, I guess you just send it out and invite whoever's willing to show up. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like there's plenty of room. You
Right.
can set up a lot of different displays.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think you would want to have a discussion with them to see what they might be interested in doing and what
Give us a feel
facilities they
first.
would need. And
Everyone's kind of wondering like, well, who else is doing it? They want to be the only person, or you get like a consensus, or how many people might be interested, and
Yeah.
go from there.
Again, a lot of it's going to depend on if there's 20 other events happening the same day. It's maybe not they care to come to Barrington, but
What day did you say it was?
21st, equinox.
Oh, that's right. Easy day to remember.
For folks that follow those things. You know. And certainly a tour from the libraries will be up and
Yeah.
running, so maybe that would be, I guess the town hall isn't that much to look at, but obviously the library.
It's also harder to get to.
Yeah, 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 right. They can actually walk to the library.
Right.
I'm hoping to have this trail up and running by then.
Railroad bed.
Yeah, on the railroad, yeah.
A lot of people walk that or bike that already.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it gets a lot of use.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's open, I mean, it's free, it's not all vegetated.
No, in fact, I mean, there's literally like about 20 yards of, you know, stuff that needs to be cleared. I started doing some of it just because I was over at the library doing landscaping work, and in between that, I go and grab some shears, chop a few branches down, you know. In fact, they were starting to dump all the debris back in that same corner. I'm like, please leave a little path, you know.
Yeah, they asked them not to dump debris out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, you know, it's all gonna rot away, but I didn't
Yeah.
want them to dump it right where the trail's gonna go.
Yeah.
But you know, there's already a culvert there that goes over the little stream that runs by there.
Mhm.
But I guess we need to figure out the,
Is there anything left of the railroad grade bed, the
Oh,
crushed
yeah.
rock and stuff? So
Sure,
it's-
yeah.
Okay, so that's,
yeah,
Yeah.
that whole length all up to Spruce Pond Road is clear.
oh,
They did clear the part north of there up to, I guess it goes up to the next road or whatever's up there. But I noticed somebody had gone in with the, take out, equipment, and they actually, because the, it's elevated at Scruton Pond Road, I guess they had a bridge at some point, right? 100 years
Yeah,
ago.
trestle there. Screw
Yeah,
Pond.
so it's elevated 20 feet above the road, Scruton Pond Road level.
oh,
And so they created a detour of sorts, because obviously you
to
can't
come
get up on
down
the
and
abutment.
around.
Yeah, so it comes up around and then it gets up onto the railroad bed. But it's really mucky there. For some reason, I don't know if it's just a whole lot of stuff washed onto it or something, because there's land that's above the railroad bed at that stretch, because
Okay.
we're going uphill a little bit. But it's weird because it's just all real mucked up. And, they had run some kind of tractor thing through there and created all these ruts.
Who actually owns that?
Well, it's different folks as you go along. I mean,
It's property owners, it's not, there's no.
yeah,
right of
evidently
way.
they sold it off to whatever. I don't know if they held an auction or.
Okay.
I mean, 100 years ago, I think it was quite. But I was amazed. There's actually houses sitting on the line and people's driveways up into Rochester. So it's unfortunate because it would make a nice route, from Rochester to Barrington.
Yeah, no, I mean, it could have been a rails to trails thing.
Right.
If it had happened at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, the part from here or from Caleb's to the library is clear.
Okay.
So
So, yeah, those, anyone else?
other ideas? It doesn't have to be directly about solar, but something
Activities.
related. Yeah. assuming we find out what's in the curriculum or something, we can, if you find a teacher who's sympathetic, it might be worth mentioning that, you know, you move weekend activity.
That's right, school will be online.
Remember the schools used to do the solar oven competitions? There'd be solar ovens and cook hamburgers.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, that would all
Yeah,
be,
it's a good idea.
yeah, it doesn't take a lot of materials. You could, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can buy lots of little kits for stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Aluminum
gonna have a
foil.
solar cookout. I think if the fire department involved. That's hot.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
I will do some calling on,
Mhm.
about some of that stuff and see what I can find out.
Okay.
And then report out on it the next
Oh,
week.
I suppose we could get like a proclamation or something from the select board, right? I mean, kind of thing. that
Yeah.
They like to do, I'm sure.
Yep.
So, I'll talk to my neighbors.
Equinox folk.
What?
Equinox folk. Like run of the, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm just talking about,
Is that Dana?
what?
Is it who, Dana you mean? Oh, no, Joyce.
Both Joyces, they're both my next door neighbors,
Okay.
actually, so, yeah. So, you know, presumably we can get a majority at least.
Yeah,
It sounds
no,
like Jim Sakosha is a key one to
I think so, yeah.
decide, since I guess he's still the chair. Lately, he's been
Vice.
chairing.
Vice chair.
Vice chair,
yeah.
Tracy's chair.
Tracy took
Tracy's
over.
chair.
And it kind of
Yeah,
rotates.
when did that, I thought, I was surprised at that.
March,
Whenever they got.
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, the first meeting
Every
after,
year.
or second meeting after the election.
Yeah.
I thought that's when Jim took over.
No, no.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Time flies.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's right. So, yeah, so.
Okay, there will be another meeting on the 19th. Like I said, if anyone's interested in the office hours for the coalition tomorrow, it should be an interesting one on rate setting and reserves. Henry will be giving it. And that was everything. So, that being said, I would propose that we adjourn. Very good. Thanks, everyone.